Hello everybody. Today I'm going to talk about one extension from last lecture, life and the absolute. I'll write it down first. Okay. But the last time it's in English, in Chinese, I'm sorry. This time I'm going to talk in English to hopefully to acquire more audience for this topic, because I believe it's pretty important. All right, keep your finger crossed. I see. I'll write down the topic first. No problem. Okay, life and the absolute. And there's a subtopic. I call it okay. So the topic is life and the absolute. Subtopic, subject versus object. So I have something to say about the object and the subject relationships. Okay, that's the purpose. All right. According to the philosophical trend of analytics, we need to analyze whatever we do or whatever we say, analyzing philosophic topic, advance a statement, whatever it is, we need to analyze it first. See if we have any confusion, any ambiguity, any pre-assumption, whatever it is, implied in it, to make it clear. Okay, that is the purpose. That's a lesson we learn from analytical philosophy, mostly in the English-speaking major countries like Britain, America, Australia, and countries like that. Okay, that's a bigger trend. Versus the rational trend in the continental Europe. All right. So from this analytical tradition, we know that we have to know exactly what we are talking about. We have to analyze it, and that's very helpful. They have a lot of examples. The famous one, for example, is French king is blah blah blah, something like that. All right. Oh yeah, French king is not bored, or is bored. Let's analyze this sentence. If you use the new mathematical logic, you'll say first you should have the existence of the person called the French king. Then the French king is bored. All right, you have to write it that way. But when you put it into the mathematical logic, you will see it's false. Currently there is no French king at all. French is a republic. France is a republic now. So it's wrong. All right, the same mistake can be found everywhere else, especially in the Chinese circle, the Chinese scholars or intellectuals, if you call them, they all commit this kind of mistake pretty often. All right. Another thing I want to stress is in the Chinese culture, there's not even less the division in terms of analytical analysis, analytical concepts, thinking, or tradition. For the Chinese, they also say heaven and earth are the one, 天地合一, right? But nobody knows exactly what does that mean. What if you separate them? What will happen? Nobody never explore that concept. They just say as people say, right? And they just go with it. No analysis at all. As a matter of fact, in the Chinese thoughts or tradition of thinkers, like all the thinkers in the past, Confucius, Lao Tzu, or Taoism, or hundreds of other scholars, there's never ever the analytical thought in philosophy, in their thinking, not in philosophy. There is no philosophy at all right? Strictly in Western terms, there's nothing like that. Nobody ever raised a question. We are confused ourselves with ambiguity, with a double meaning, or what is implied, what is stated. Nobody ever raised this question. Instead, on the opposite, they like the ambiguity, right? They like the confusion. That's not a good thing, all right? Especially when science came forward down the ages in recent 500 years. We know how much advanced the Western world has been through, and looking back to the East, there's no progress, just repetition of the circle after circle of the kingdom, the imperial inheritance, the politics, the society as a whole. It's always like that, no advance at all right? No wonder. You don't have the analytical thoughts, you are not clear about things, there's nothing like a science ever will spread seeds in the soil, right? So there's no way you can have science. So that's very true. All right. Today I'm not going to dwell on Chinese culture too much, but to go on, I have other purpose to say. All right. Last lecture in Chinese, I also repeated, or rather, I explained the tradition in terms of epistemology, right? How to know things, how do people understand things, how do you know you know, how do you claim you know what you know, all right? That's the purpose of saying, studying, and using philosophy, okay? So, another big trend or big school in philosophy field is ontology. All right, remember last three things I mentioned? Epistemology, ontology, and morality. All right, the logic or form of logic is going throughout all the philosophy. That's 2,500 years of Western tradition is talking about here, all right? What is called philosophy. All right, so instead of talking ontology, I still will go deeper on the concept of epistemology here. Okay, one day I'll come to my theory part of Instancology. We'll come to my system of Instancology as a foundation of Instancology. It's called Absolute-3. That is the basis or the foundation of Instancology, or you can call it it's ontology of Instancology. Okay, so absolutely absolute, double absolute. Sometimes I use this term to express the meaning of the ontology of instancology. Okay. I just want to briefly mention it in the instancology. The ontological part is has absolute versus relative. All right. I have 4 categories because when you have absolute and relative, you can combine and form 4 categories. That is relative, and absolute. By combination, you have absolutely relative, you have relatively relative, also you have relative absolute, and finally you have absolutely absolute. I'll talk about that. That's a pretty deep thinking and the meaning. I'll talk about it one day, all right? But not this time. This time, I'm going to talk about ontology, still continuing from the last tradition, from the last topic about epistemology. So today is about subject versus object, okay? And the two, it has some thinking. I have done some thinking into it, so I'll share with you, all right? First, I want to give definition for the subject and the object. What is the subject? Basically, the connotation is human, anything related to human, all right? That's called subject. Subject is human, anything related to human being is a subjective, all right? For example, let's say we made a machine, we created a bridge, we write a book, we have draw a picture of art, we compose a music, we danced, and things like that. Anything human being created or likely to do, and spiritually. All right, that's the definition. What is object? Object basically meaning non-human related. All right, it has nothing to do with the human. Think about the time, the duration of human, the generation of life. Before that, what will happen? That's called non-human. That's called object. All right, purely object. So in its extension, you can say anything related to non-human is objective. All right. So just make it clear to you. Subject meaning human. Subjective means human related. Object meaning non-human. Objective means not human related. All right, from a different point of view. All right, next, I'm going to draw a table. I want to put down the 4 by combination and the formation, the 4 terms are related, combined to show clearly the relationships of the 4 and to let you have it versus the relative against absolute. It's the same thing here. But here we talk about epistemology, remember. All right. I draw the basic picture. If you cannot see it clearly, doesn't matter. I'll write it. I'll explain to you in my following talk, okay? All right, this is basically the table for the four categories in epistemology of instancology. I'll give you some example. We have the definition already, right? So let's go on with delve deeper into it. Subject, I'll write S in short, and the object O, okay, for abbreviation. So first, subject, subjectively subject. I call it SS. Okay, look at it here. Subjective subject. What is subjective subject? Well, it means it's an evaluation, all right? If an opinion, it's opinion. Okay? It's your personal judgment. It's what you think, what you know, purely out of your own thoughts, your own fancy, what you wish, you desire, all right? And what is that? You may say, I write a book and I'm thinking this book is great. Or I think it's worthless. I did it, I twisted, I threw it into a garbage can. All right? That's called subjectively subject. Whatever you think your book is, all right? You compose the music, you perform, let's say, a lecture, or whatever you did, all right? Your own judgment or other people, one person, any individual person's opinion on what you did or other people did, that's called subjectively subject. SS, in other words, all right? So examples like a book, a music, arts, or even a talk. All right, anything like that. The judgment, the opinion, all right, is called to the book, to the music, to the art, to the talk, on the book. I should add on here. Any opinion, judgment, ideas, evaluation, desire, wish on a book, on a music, on art, or on talk, spiritual products, whatever it is. Even you can say religion. All right, that's called subjectively subject, SS. Okay, I think you got it. Next one. Okay, the next one, objective combined with the subject, it's objective subjectivity, OS. All right, what is this? The definition or connotation of it is called generalized. All right, as a group, abstracted by the group, accepted by group, and the human group, of course. Okay? In this category, it's spiritual products. We know, we admit, we inherit, we study, we worship, whatever it is. Like a Bible, right? Like a good theory, you may say like the economic theory of Marxist or any other theorist, okay? Or we can say it's a science theory, like a Newtonian theory or Albert Einstein theory, okay? Or quantum mechanics or physics, okay? These kind of thing, or even you can say art, music, these kind of thing. Even dance, even a lot of cultural related items as a product. It's most important thing is human made and it's a spiritual products. That's a key point. I know sometimes it's bordering both sides, objective and the subject. But mostly here it stresses the objective subjectivity. All right, that's objectively existing and it's go on for generations. It will be inherited in later generations. I'll talk about duration soon, all right? After I finish the 4 categories, I'll let you know. All right, so this is basically the spiritual products. Okay, so this category basically OS is spiritual products. Remember this is pretty important. All right, and the next category we come here, we have S subjective object. It's a subjectively objective. Okay, subjectively objective, SO, all right. And what is this? Basically, it's the definition is man-made physical objects, all right, by combination, modification of elements, natural things. For example, cars, internet, etc., airplanes, boats, bridge, those kind of things, all right? Notice the difference, this group versus the spiritual products. SO versus OS, they are quite different, all right? So make sure you understand it well. Okay, I'll write it down, like cars and bridge, and like internet. All right, so these kind of subjectively objective things can be modified, can go on and have later improved version, have better outputs later on, and inherited will go on with human civilization, human development for years to come. It probably will never disappear again. Think about the cars. Think about internet. Do you think one day we can get rid of it? We don't have it anymore? Probably not. Okay? Because human will use it, and as long as the human being in this universe will still employ it, will use it, will modify it, will have a better version, like our cell phones. Okay? That's mostly likely the case. Okay, the last one, I call it objectively object. Okay, for this group, it's OO, it's double O, objectively objective, OO, okay? What does this mean? The definition for this is out of human touch, no human interference by definition, okay? That's their connotation. So we know what are the things that human can never or ever be able to touch, like the big thing. You cannot do anything about it. Galaxies and the universe, the black hole, or maybe Big Bang, or things like that. As small as the basic elements, the chemical elements, we have more than 100 already, right? Discovered. No one is made by human. We have the basic elements like atoms, electrons, quarks, and we have neutrons, things like that. They all belong to this category. Basically, out of human touch. Okay? People can do nothing about them. They will exist there. No matter humans interfere with it or not, they will have their own life, if you will. All right? Okay, now we talk about the duration, the time dimension of the four category things. For the first one, the SS is the shortest. The shortest duration, shortest. And for this one, objective subjectivity, OS, is longer. Okay, it's long. All right. I'm sorry, didn't write it well. It's long. For the subjectively objective SS, it's longer. It's long than this one, so it's longer. It's not enough space. I'll write it here. Longer. And the last one, this one, double O, is the longest. All right. You have longest. Well, let's say, give you more example. Let's say the SS, the subjectively subject. If you have a theory, you have a book, you think somebody is great, how long does it last? Forever? All right, somebody claimed to be the God or the master of universe. How long do you think it will last? Very short. And everybody knows, right? Whenever they think it will last for million years, it never be true. All right? And in China we have Qin Shi Huang, right? He's thinking he was the first. Then his generation by generation will go on forever. But how long does it last? Not very long, right? 15 years, all right? And also the Cultural Revolution, all right? Chairman Mao thinks he's great. The Cultural Revolution will last forever in China. How long does it last? And how about Hitler, right? He thinks he's a third imperial society or socialist party will last forever too. He will conquer all over the world, but it won't. All right, that's called subjective subject. It's a judgment, opinion on people, on book, on music, on art, on talk, on theory, on concept. All right, and this one, spiritual products, objective subjectivity. You will notice why it's objective, because it's accepted already by the populace, by the group, by the majority of a generation or generations, right? It's already taken as true. Let's say a Bible, the religion, right? And things like that. So it's longer, That's it's spiritual products. It's like that. All right. Next one we come to the two objective object categories when subjectively objective. SO, right? This is something physical, like a car, bridge, internet. It's longer than the spiritual products. Hopefully, I believe that's longer. And human being create something like tools, right? The ancient people that humans started to using tools to create a fire, right? That's longer than the Bible, correct? That's true. Okay, of course the last category, objectively objective, double O is the longest, right? And do you think human being will last as long as the stars, as galaxies, as a Big Bang, or as a black hole? Probably not. Mostly likely, human being will disappear first, right? We'll see. But anyway, these are 4 categories relating to epistemology of philosophy in terms of Instancology. All right, that's versus the 4 categories of relative versus absolute. In that part, you have, I'll talk about more about details later. Absolutely, relatively relative, absolutely relative, and relatively absolute, and absolutely absolute. All right. Okay, last topic, last question. What lessons we learn from this? What lessons we'll draw from this? All right. So for this one, you do not want to give your generalization too much, taken from OS. If it's SS, it's the shortest, okay? So don't think it that way. Don't take things, if it's SS, it's not OS, all right? Your opinion, your wish, your desire, okay? It won't be as OS. It needs the generation to prove it, all right? It needs history to prove it. A lot of the other things will happen during the time, all right? So don't think it's more than what it should be, because it's not objective at all. It's entirely subjective subject, SS, all right? That's your opinion, that's your judgment, that's your evaluation, that's your wish, that's your desire, okay? So don't say more than it should be, all right? Let other people judge it, let the group judge it, let history verify it, let majority examine it. That's a purpose, all right? That's a truth. Let truth reveal itself, all right? If it's true, if it's a diamond, it will come out, it will shine, okay? If it's gold, it will shine, all right? Not every yellow thing is gold. Remember that proverb? It is quite true. All right, so we try to have this to reach this one for any human spiritual products to make it long-lasting. When you reach OS, you pass the test of history, generations, group, human beings. Congratulations if you come to this part. But by this time, you are out of the world already. You are in heaven by that time. But it doesn't matter. Truth will last forever. Remember that. As long as the truth, it will stand out. Okay? So remember that part. If you are an engineer, if you are a businessman, you want to have something like a subjectively objective, like a car, bridge, internet. You want to be in the empire, right? You are a good shoes maker, make good shoes. It will last forever. If you are, let's say, a money maker, you want to create a lot of value, you want to create a lot of treasure, and it will benefit people, and people will say you are sort of, can be memorized for generations to come, right? And the people will remember you forever. Okay, that's something physical, all right? as long as it's physical, it will last forever, basically, right? And it will last because more modification down the road will happen and will be better and better, making it more perfect all the way down into history. Okay? And the last one is objectively object. Remember, for this part, we're only a small particle in this vast, immense universe. You can never ever know what will happen to humans. All right? The truth you realize is just a small, a particle, a shining part, element of the entire universe. That's very important. We remember this, and humbled by the universe, will know what we should do as a human being. All right? And that hopefully what I give my thinking will give you some thoughts into this new theory of development. Okay? Hopefully, if you have any questions or if you feel interested, let me know. I'll try to answer you. Okay? Stay safe. Enjoy yourself, everybody. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.